Vayikra is written with a small aleph. The Baal HaTurim explains to us why is it that of all the words in the Torah, the last letter of Vayikra is written with a small aleph as opposed to a regular size aleph. It explains the Baal HaTurim that this was actually a debate between Hashem and Moshe. Hashem told Moshe, write the word Vayikra as it should appear as a full word, and Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, I don't want to do that. The word Vayikra implies that God called Moses, that Hashem singled out Moshe Rabbeinu from all of the Jews of his generation, called upon him, pulled him out and said, I want to speak to you. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, that's too much honor. I don't want to record that in the Torah, that I was selected from all the people. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu asked to write it without an aleph. He wanted to write the word Vayikar as it just occurred, as if to say Hashem just sort of, it occurred to Hashem to speak to Moshe, but not that it was actually an audience, not that it was actually pre-planned. Hashem said to Moshe, no, do not write it without an aleph, write it with an aleph as you were instructed. Moshe Rabbeinu said, okay, the pshara, the middle ground is, I'll write it your way, but I'll write it my way with a small aleph. Says the Baal HaTurim, we see the extraordinary humility of Moshe, his extreme humility that he didn't want to be treated with honor. If you think about this Baal HaTurim, it's rather curious, because this doesn't sound like a very humble man. If God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, told Moshe Rabbeinu to write the word, you would assume that a servant, a humble servant, would do as told. Hashem said, write the word Vayikra as I told you to. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, I'm not going to do it that way. All right, compromise, I'll do it my way, sort of in between. That doesn't sound very humble at all. And I believe the understanding and the answer to this is based on a fundamental understanding of the balance between self-esteem and humility. And the best way I could explain this is with a mashal. Imagine you're passing a large construction site. And in the center of this construction site, you see a huge crane. This crane is lifting up literally tons and tons of dirt, stone, moving it from one end of the site to the other. And you see inside the cab is the operator of the crane, Joe. Joe is a bit overweight, in fact, maybe 60 or 80 pounds overweight, chain smoking. And you walk over to Joe and go, Joe, look at you. You're overweight. You're smoking. Joe, you got to get to the gym. You got to take care of your health. Joe says, me work out? What are you kidding? You know what I do all day? Lift heavy loads, tons and tons of dirt and rock. I don't got to go to the gym all day long. I'm lifting. At which point you say to Joe, Joe, that's not you. That's the crane. You're the little guy operating the crane. That is a very apt parable, very apt mashal to us. Hashem created us in the tzura, in the form of Hashem, and Hashem gave us tremendous, tremendous capacities. I occupy a body, I am a man, and that human being that I am has tremendous, tremendous abilities. When I walk into a room, there's honor due to this person because this is an Adam. An Adam has a mind, an Adam has capacity. This human being can accomplish worlds. Yet I am but that little guy inside. I didn't create the brain, I didn't stretch the skin, I didn't make myself. Hashem took me, put me inside this body and said, go out there, accomplish and do. But both realities are accurate. There's a mighty, mighty crane that can accomplish worlds. That's who I am. But I'm but that little guy inside the crane. Moshe Rabbeinu had that dual understanding very, very clearly in front of him. He knew that Hashem chose him and made him the manig of the generation, the one to write down the Torah. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu exercised that power. He said, I understand who I am, and I think it's too much honor. And he didn't want to be treated with honor because he recognized that he was but that little guy, so to speak, inside. He also understood his importance, and both of those realities were part of him. And therefore he said, I don't want the honor, and Hashem, I'm going to stand on this principle. And if it could be, he stood up to the creator of the heavens and earth and said, we're going to write it with a small aleph. And what you see here is this duality, an understanding of his greatness, and yet at the same time a true understanding of humility. And ultimately that is the perfection of the human, where he understands his greatness, yet remains as humble as pie, because he recognizes that he has a creator and that Hashem alone put him into power and keeps him in existence.